In this video, we'll be taking a look at two NFL games happening on December 24, 2023, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 4 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these two NFL games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start: if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Detroit Lions versus Minnesota Vikings. The impending National Football Conference North clash between the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions at US Bank Stadium is generating significant anticipation. This encounter, scheduled for Sunday, marks the initiation of a 3-week series of matchups between these fierce divisional rivals. Last season witnessed the home team prevailing in each confrontation, adding an extra layer of intrigue to this upcoming game. The Detroit Lions, currently standing at an impressive 10-4, appear poised to secure the division, while the 7-7 Minnesota Vikings find themselves in a critical position, fighting tenaciously for a playoff berth. Given the high stakes and the historical intensity of the rivalry, fans are undoubtedly in for a captivating spectacle. As for the Detroit Lions, their current record of 10-4 reflects a season marked by notable achievements. In their recent game, they triumphed over the Denver Broncos with a commanding score of 42-17. The Lions asserted their dominance early, leading 28-10 at halftime and effectively maintaining their advantage throughout the second half. This victory was characterized by a substantial yardage advantage of 448-287 and a crucial turnover forced by the Lions' defense. Despite a prior setback against the Chicago Bears, the Lions showcased their resilience with a notable 33-28 victory over the New Orleans Saints. Jared Goff has been a key contributor to the Lions' success, amassing 3,727 passing yards, 26 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions this season. Supported by impactful players like David Montgomery and Amon-Ra St. Brown, the Lions' offense averages an impressive 27 points per game. Meanwhile, their defense has held opponents to an average of 24 points per game. On the other side of the field, the Minnesota Vikings stand at 7-7 this season. Their recent setback came in a closely contested match against the Cincinnati Bengals, resulting in a 27-24 loss in overtime. Despite holding a 17-3 lead in the fourth quarter and a 24-17 advantage with less than 4 minutes remaining, the Vikings conceded the game-tying score and eventually succumbed in overtime. Despite the setback, the Vikings displayed offensive prowess, outgaining the Bengals by a total of 424-378. Their season has been marked by inconsistency, with victories over the Raiders overshadowed by losses to the Chicago Bears and the Denver Broncos. The Vikings' offense, averaging 21 points per game, relies on the performance of Nick Mullins, who threw for 386 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions in the last game. Their defense, allowing an average of 19 points per game, remains a formidable force. In the upcoming clash, the Lions arrive with momentum, having secured a convincing win over the Broncos. Boasting an offensive lineup that has scored 30 or more points in 7 games and 40 or more points in 3 games this season, the Lions, led by quarterback Jared Goff, present a formidable challenge for the Vikings' defense. Amon-Ra St. Brown and tight end Sam Laporta have proven to be dynamic weapons, combining for 160 catches and nearly 2,000 yards receiving. The Vikings' secondary faces a daunting task in containing this potent offensive trio. The Vikings, navigating an unpredictable season and now relying on their third quarterback, Nick Mullins, have experienced challenges on the offensive front. However, they exhibited a resurgence against the Bengals, and the key to success against the Lions lies in maintaining offensive momentum. Ground game contributors Ty Chandler and the potentially questionable Alexander Mattison will play pivotal roles in establishing offensive dominance. The Vikings recognize the necessity of keeping pace with the Lions to secure a chance at victory. In evaluating the overall outlook, the Lions emerge as frontrunners for a National Football Conference North triumph, supported by a well-rounded performance on both offense and defense. Their proficiency on the road adds an extra layer of confidence, especially against a Minnesota team grappling with injuries and uncertainty at the quarterback position. Detroit's defense, poised to exploit the Vikings' quarterback challenges, complements an offense that boasts one of the league's premier running games. The ability to control the clock becomes a critical factor, and considering Detroit's recent success in covering the spread, including 5 consecutive instances against Minnesota, confidence in their performance remains high. The Minnesota Vikings' offensive struggles, particularly evident in their recent loss to the Bengals after relinquishing a fourth-quarter lead, contrast sharply with the Lions' offensive prowess. The Lions, coming off a resounding victory over the Broncos, exude confidence, especially in their home dome environment. Recent performances by the Vikings do little to inspire confidence in their ability to rise to the occasion against a formidable opponent. Ultimately, the Lions' superior offense, led by Jared Goff, sets the stage for a favorable outcome. The Vikings' defensive resilience may pose challenges, but the Lions' multifaceted offensive approach, supported by a dynamic receiving core, positions them favorably in this one. So the Detroit Lions to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Shifting the focus to the defensive aspect, the Minnesota Vikings have maintained a solid defensive performance throughout the year, allowing opponents an average of 19 points per game. However, facing a formidable Lions offense averaging 27 points per game presents a formidable challenge. The unpredictability of the Vikings' offensive output adds an element of uncertainty to the equation. Despite a breakout performance against the Bengals, scoring 24 points, the Vikings' offense may encounter difficulties against a Lions defense that limited the Broncos to only 17 points in the previous week. A recurring theme of inconsistency in the Vikings' offensive displays suggests a potential struggle in this upcoming matchup. Anticipating the clash of defensive prowess against offensive might, the Vikings may find it challenging to contain the Lions, who have demonstrated efficiency on the offensive front. While the Vikings' defensive statistics showcase commendable performance, the contrast with the Lions' offensive output introduces an element of uncertainty. The Lions' ability to control the game through their running game and a potent offense hints at a challenging task for the Vikings' defense. The strategic paths to success for both teams come into focus as the Lions aim for an early lead, leveraging their superior offense, while the Vikings look to establish a ground game and counter the Lions' offensive onslaught. This sets the stage for a game characterized by defensive resilience and a running clock, especially considering the high stakes for both teams in the race for the division title. While week the 18th of May witness a different scenario with potential outcomes locked up, the current week promises an intense battle marked by physicality, animosity, and the trademark rivalry inherent in divisional matchups. The likelihood of regression in Detroit's offense after their previous week's performance suggests a total score below 45 points, aligning with the expectation of a hard-fought, low-scoring contest. Divisional games often unfold with lower scores due to teams' familiarity with each other, making under the projected total our preferred full-game total pick. Indianapolis Colts versus Atlanta Falcons. On Sunday afternoon, the Indianapolis Colts and the Atlanta Falcons find themselves in a crucial battle for their playoff aspirations. The significance of a postseason appearance or an early offseason hinges on the outcome of this interconference clash, set to kick off in the imposing Mercedes-Benz Stadium. The stakes are undeniably sky-high, prompting contemplation on whether the home advantage will favor the Falcons or if the Colts will continue their upward trajectory. The Indianapolis Colts have posted an 8-6 record this season, bolstered by their recent 30-13 victory against Pittsburgh. In a remarkable turnaround, the Colts, trailing 13-0 in the second quarter, orchestrated a stunning comeback, outscoring Pittsburgh 30-0 for the win, garnering a total of 372 yards compared to Pittsburgh's 216. The Colts demonstrated their prowess by forcing 3 turnovers. While a previous setback against Cincinnati interrupted their winning streak, the Colts had secured victories against Tennessee, Tampa Bay, New England, and Carolina, currently averaging 25 points per game. The Colts offensive engine, led by Gardner Minshew with 2,739 passing yards, 14 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions, aims to maintain its momentum. Zach Moss, questionable due to injury, has contributed 764 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns, complemented by Josh Downs with 57 receptions for 631 yards and 2 scores. Despite uncertainties surrounding Michael Pittman's availability, the Colts defense is holding its ground, conceding an average of 24.5 points per game. Contrastingly, the Atlanta Falcons stand at 6-8 this season, grappling with inconsistency. Their recent 9-7 loss to Carolina highlighted offensive struggles, with a halftime lead of 7-3 slipping away in the second half. Outgained 283 to 204 and plagued by 2 turnovers, the Falcons face a pivotal juncture. A defeat to Tampa Bay and wins against the Jets and Saints preceded their loss to Carolina, encapsulating the Falcons' roller coaster season. Averaging 18 points per game, the Falcons' offensive dynamics, spearheaded by Taylor Heinicke with 498 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception, rely on the ground presence of Bijan Robinson and the receiving prowess of Drake London. The Falcons' defense, allowing 20 points per game, shoulders the responsibility of containing the Colts' formidable offense. As these two teams enter this matchup, their trajectories diverge, yet both are entrenched in the playoff race. Indianapolis boasts a commendable 5-2 road record over the last 6 games, showcasing resilience and adaptability. Meanwhile, the Falcons, having suffered 2 consecutive losses, find themselves just 1 game behind in the National Football Conference South race. A crucial element in this matchup is the return of Taylor Heinicke at quarterback for the Falcons, albeit amid struggles and limited action. The Falcons' defense emerges as a bright spot, but containing the multifaceted Colts offense presents a formidable challenge. While a shootout strategy could potentially subdue the Colts, the Falcons' offense appears ill-equipped for such a high-scoring encounter, adding weight to the importance of this game for the Colts' playoff aspirations. Despite being favored at home, the Atlanta Falcons face skepticism, with the Colts entering the matchup in superior form. The Falcons' limited offense, having lost 5 of their last 7 games, raises doubts about their ability to secure a playoff spot. Their recent defeat to the Panthers, a team not actively competing for victories, questions the rationale behind favoring the Falcons against a surging Colts team. Consequently, our prediction leans towards the Indianapolis Colts covering the spread as underdogs as our full game side pick. Examining the team's performance at home, the Falcons have averaged 23 points per game this season. Contrasting with the Colts' defensive allowance of 24.5 points per game, the Falcons anticipate scoring at least 24 points. On the flip side, the Colts, with an offensive output of 25 points per game unaffected by travel, face an Atlanta defense conceding more points at home. Given the Colts' consistent scoring pattern, surpassing 20 points weekly, the expectation remains that this trend will persist. After being restricted to a mere 7 points against the Panthers last week, the Atlanta Falcons aim for a substantial offensive resurgence this Sunday. Despite averaging 19 points per game, the Falcons harbor the potential to surpass the 25-point mark against the Colts. The Colts' defensively inconsistent performance, coupled with the dynamic duo of Bijan Robinson on the ground and Taylor Heinicke orchestrating drives, fuels optimism for the Falcons' offensive output. In tandem with the Falcons, the Colts' offense projects to contribute significantly to the game's scoring. With 6 instances of scoring 27 or more points this season, Gardner Minshew's ability to navigate the team down the field remains pivotal. Despite the absence of Michael Pittman, the return of Jonathan Taylor bolsters the Colts' running game. We're seeing a high-scoring affair where both teams actively contribute to the point tally. Our prediction leans towards over the projected total as our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.